Okay, picture this. You just ate this massive, incredibly healthy plant-based meal, only to feel totally wiped out and, frankly, hungry again an hour later. Or maybe you find yourself constantly craving sweets, even though you're eating whole foods, or your weight loss has just completely hit a wall. You're probably sitting there thinking, I'm eating clean, I'm doing everything right, why in the world is this happening?
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really insightful breakdown from Nicole W. about the hidden blood sugar problem on a plant-based diet. And right off the bat, if you're feeling exhausted after meals, you aren't doing anything wrong. Your body is just doing exactly what it was designed to do, deliver glucose to your cells as fuel. You don't need to be afraid of fuel. As the source material points out, when glucose gets out of control, it's an issue of timing, not toxicity. Your body just wants steady energy, but our modern food habits? Yeah. They tend to completely overwhelm the delivery system.
So, let's jump into our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The hidden problem, 2. What causes the spikes, 3. The blood sugar roller coaster, 4. Getting off the ride, 5. Your new meal structure, and 6. The final takeaway.
Starting with Part 1, the hidden blood sugar problem. Which brings us to Part 2, what actually causes these spikes?
You know, you can be eating perfectly healthy 100% whole plant foods, but they can still trigger really unstable blood sugar depending entirely on how they're prepared and combined. Take a look at intact foods, things like legumes, oats, quinoa. Those are your steady, reliable friends. But then we have the fast-digesting carb betrayers. These are broken down, like that so-called healthy morning smoothie, or flours, juices, and dried fruits like dates. Even white rice, which has had its fiber-rich outer layer completely stripped away. These foods basically act like a giant gas pedal, flooding your bloodstream with glucose way too quickly.
And there are a few other sneaky factors at play here too. Even with whole foods, if your meal is really low in fiber compared to the total carbs, your glucose is still going to shoot up. Then you've got excess calories from refined carbs or high-fat foods. Over time, that can actually increase liver fat and reduce your insulin sensitivity. High dietary saturated fat can also directly interfere with how well your insulin works in the short term. And finally, constant grazing. If you're snacking all day long, your blood sugar stays artificially elevated. Your body literally never gets a chance to catch its breath and reset between meals.
All right, let's look at Part 3, the blood sugar roller coaster.
Because if you're combining fast carbs and constant grazing, you are basically buying a one-way ticket for this terrible ride. Let's walk through the actual physiological misery this causes. Step 1, you eat a fast-digesting meal, maybe that sugary betrayer of a smoothie, and your blood sugar just spikes. Step 2, your body panics and releases this massive rush of insulin to force it back down. Step 3, because of that huge insulin dump, your blood sugar drops, usually really rapidly, causing a massive crash. Step 4, suddenly you're exhausted, you're starving, and you're desperately craving sweets. So what do? You eat again, and the cycle repeats. Spike, crash, crave. It absolutely ruins your afternoon energy.
But hey, let's move to Part 4, getting off the roller coaster. The good news? This is entirely fixable. You don't need to magically eliminate glucose from your life. You just need to slow and stabilize it. And we do that with one powerful tool, fiber. I want you to think of fiber functionally as nature's brake pedal. If fast-digesting carbs are slamming your body's gas pedal, fiber gently pumps the brakes. It physically slows down how fast glucose gets absorbed into your bloodstream, which guarantees a smooth, steady ride instead of a terrifying drop. But for this to work, it's got to be intact fiber from real whole foods, like lentils, beans, barley, or veggies, not just some processed supplement powder you stir into a glass of water.
So what's the magic number? 10 to 15 plus grams. Research points out that while 5 to 10 grams of fiber per meal will start to slow down glucose absorption, 10 or more grams per meal is the real sweet spot, especially for higher carb meals. You really want to focus on intact fiber-rich foods. But, and this is important, build up to this 10 to 15 gram target gradually. You want to give your body time to adjust so you avoid any, digestive discomfort.
Okay, Part 5, your new meal structure.
It is time to put all the science into action. We are going to gamify your daily meals with 4 core steps. First, stop grazing. Aim for 2 to 3 really satisfying meals a day that actually have enough volume to keep you full. Second, hit that target of 10 to 15 plus grams of fiber per meal to pump those brakes. Third, eat on a regular schedule. Your body loves a rhythm, and consistent timing improves your insulin coordination and stops those reactive crashes. Finally, step 4, batch cook. You have to avoid the disastrous "I'm starving" trap. When hunger gets too intense, you will absolutely reach for quick, low-fiber foods. Prevent that by prepping your legumes and veggies ahead of time, making the healthy choice the easiest choice. Check out how perfectly this builds your day. Breakfast. Your goal is to stop that morning spike right in its tracks. Target fiber, 10 to 15 grams. Lunch. We want to sustain that crucial afternoon energy. Target fiber, 10 to 15 grams. Dinner. Keep your blood sugar steady for a great night of sleep. Target fiber? Yep, you guessed it, 10 to 15 grams. When you hit these targets across just 3 structured meals, it completely eliminates the need for that constant spike-inducing grazing.
Which brings us to part 6, the final takeaway.
Making this work long-term really requires a core philosophy shift. Blood sugar instability isn't just a diabetic problem, it can happen to anyone, even on a beautifully clean, healthy plant-based diet if you don't have the right structure. Because, listen to me, it is not about restriction, it's about structure. It's about controlling how quickly glucose enters your bloodstream, literally managing the speed limit of your digestion. When you slow things down with more fiber, more intact foods, and consistent meal timing, your energy becomes incredibly steady. Your hunger decreases, those annoying cravings naturally fade away, and even weight management becomes so much easier.
I want to end with this really provocative quote straight from the source material. Before you try to eat less, fix how your meals are working first. I want you to ask yourself today, are your meals actually built to fuel you, with enough fiber to gently pump the brakes? Or are they just strapping you in for a high-speed roller coaster ride? Start small, build up your fiber gradually, and take back control of your energy. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.